my easy Brie Brittle with fig dip. Okay, I'm gonna show you what you do now. These are tiny little Brie bites. You've seen these.
I've seen them.
I love them.
I'm going to, now sometimes you'll see they already have lines in them from how they're resting on the cloth. And I'm just gonna go in and 50% that line, if you will, right?
Ooh.
So halfway through that line, you can see. So I'm gonna microwave these Brie slices.
What?
Yes. Hey, Jeffrey puts fish in the microwave. It's okay.
Put
Thank
everything in the
you.
microwave.
Yeah,
You can put Brie
GZ,
in there.
about 3 minutes until they're slightly golden
So
and
there.
puffed up. While that is microwaving, I'm gonna show you how to make a really quick dip.
I'm so excited. I love figs and cheese.
Same.
Oof.
Some of that fresh orange juice.
Oh,
Maybe not all of it. I've got some golden raisins
hey now.
chopped down. Gonna add them in there. Let them plump up. A little bit of white wine vinegar went in. A little pinch of salt. Come back in here with some black pepper. So after this cooks down a little bit and it reduces.
Oh, man. One.
Okay. Are you guys ready for this?
Yeah.
I'm so ready.
All right,
Mind
there goes our
blown.
dip.
Oh, man.
Oh, snap.
Is it warm? Who came up with this? Like, who is...
Listen
Who
to this.
was sitting around
Are you ready?
thinking, let me microwave my Brie?
Listen.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Sounds like a little crostini almost.
Put the wine
Wow.
on the outside.
I mean, someone had the munchies when they did this. I'll just put it that way.
Hello.
Listen,
I mean, you know, internet's not all bad.
no, it's not. Some of this stuff works. And
I
we're
always-
sitting there. We're
yeah.
doing it for you guys.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
man.
a punch of flavor.
Chicken jalapeno popper quesadilla. Okay, so I've got a cheese mixture with Monterey Jack and cream cheese, and I'm adding a little bit of cayenne and a little bit of cumin just to jazz things up a bit. And then I'll just smoosh all this together. All right, awesome. Now, I already fried some bacon and I took it out of the pan. I took out some of the bacon grease, but left some in there. And I'm gonna add some butter because why not? That's my motto, why not? When it comes to whether you should add butter. So I'm gonna get the skillet hot and get that butter sizzling. And then I'm gonna put this cream mixture on a really big tortilla. So plop. You could also spread the tortilla with the cream cheese, sprinkle the cheese on top, and then sprinkle that with spices if you want to. Whatever order you want to do it in is just fine. So I'm spreading this around just so it reaches kind of the edges of the tortilla. So over the cheese mixture, I'm gonna sprinkle some shredded chicken, and then I've got some fresh jalapenos. Now, I cut these into quarters, scraped out the seeds and membranes. Otherwise, this quesadilla would be mighty powerful. I don't want to blow anybody out of the lodge today. Okay, so that butter is nice and sizzly. So I'm going to take this over and put it straight into the pan. Delicious. And then I've got this cooked bacon, and I'm just going to crumble it into the quesadilla. So this is basically just sort of a deconstructed jalapeno popper in quesadilla form, is what I'm calling it. I figure out these things as I go along. Okay, and then the second tortilla goes right on top. And now I've just got to babysit this until it's golden brown on the first side, and then I'll flip it and cook it on side 2. All right, look in the skillet, Alex. You can't see what's in the quesadilla, but you can see the tortilla, and it is looking mighty fine. Okay, I need another spatula for this. This is a 2-spatula job. Okay, I do not want this thing to fall apart. You ready? Ooh. I love it when a plan comes together. All right, so I'm gonna cut the quesadilla, and then cilantro is all you need. You can serve this with sour cream if you want to. It kind of cools down the heat a little bit. I just like to sprinkle cilantro all over the place. Just throw it like confetti.
Not even on the quesadilla.
Whee! I like to celebrate the beauty of quesadillas.
I'm doing an article about brunch. It's no secret that I love entertaining during the day. I love breakfast, lunch, brunch, any of them. People come for a few hours, we have a really good time, they have lots of energy. and then they go off to the rest of their day. It's a wonderful way to entertain, and I love the food. I'm starting with roasted hazelnut granola. I love making granola. You can make it way in advance. It's delicious for breakfast or brunch, and you can make so many different varieties of it. So I'm starting with 1 cup of roasted hazelnuts, just really coarsely chopped. Next is 1 cup of roasted cashews. Actually, even though I'm roasting these, I start with roasted nuts. The wonderful thing is when you roast them, the flavor of the nuts really comes out. And just also give it a big rough chop. You don't want little pieces, you want big pieces. Okay, into the bowl. Next is 1 cup of oatmeal. Can't make granola without oatmeal. I like the crunch of the old-fashioned ones. Next is 1/2 cup of slivered almonds. You can also use sliced almonds, but these are slivered. 1/2 cup of sweetened shredded coconut. All of these measurements aren't exact. If you like something more than something else, just add a little more. 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil. This is what's going to brown everything and make it taste so delicious. You want a flavorless oil. 2 tablespoons of honey. And if you do the oil first, the honey comes out of the tablespoon easily. That's a neat little trick. Again, put as much honey in as you like. Give it all a big stir. This looks good and healthy. The nice thing about granola is you can really make it well in advance. Roast the whole thing and just keep it in an airtight container. Okay, last big stir. Onto a pan. Looks good already, it's not even baked. Just spread it out evenly into the oven, 350 degrees for 20 minutes. Just gonna toss it a few times while it's baking to make sure it bakes evenly. And that's gonna be really delicious, roasted hazelnut granola. This granola smells so good, wow. It's really toasted and perfect. Just give it a toss, make sure it doesn't get all clumped together. Can't wait to see what the guys are doing on the table. I'm sure it's fantastic. And when the granola cools, I'm gonna put it in a big bowl, and everybody can help themselves.
Okay, we are going to have some serious fun today. Every recipe I make is going to be mostly kale. I'm just kidding. We're making game day eats. We are making food fit for football, whether you're watching it or tailgating. I'm starting with pizza dip with garlic bread. So I'm making a creamy, cheesy mixture for the dip. Cream cheese, ricotta, about a cup of mozzarella grated, and this is just the supermarket mozzarella, I call it. And I'm gonna save some back for the top, and then also some sour cream. Oh, this is so delicious. And oregano. And then I'll grab a little salt and pepper just for fun. I think if I had to pick one of my very, very favorite categories of food, it would definitely be what I call football food or game day food, whether it's dips or burgers or, you know, what else do you think of when you think of like game day food?
Glizzies.
What? Wings, beer. Is that what a glizzy is?
Hot dog.
Hot dog.
Oh, okay. Hot dogs, nachos, all the good things in life. Okay, so this is just a good basic creamy ricotta mixture, much like you would find in lasagna. So we could call this like pizza lasagna dip. I like to change the name of recipes as I go along. Okay, that's looking good. So I'm actually gonna bake the dip in an iron skillet because I just think it looks real rustic and, I don't know, football friendly.
Gridiron, the gridiron.
Ooh, good point. Good point. It conveys strength, durability. All right. So I'm spreading the dip into the skillet. And, now I'm going to build this dip basically like a pizza, just like you would build the top of a pizza. So marinara sauce. Check it out.
I
Isn't
gotta
this
get
cool?
The pork ham.
Yeah, pork ham. And it's a lot. It's a lot. But I'm going to spread it out, and then you can kind of see the ricotta peeking out. And then the rest of the mozzarella.
Oh, baby.
Yum, yum. And then pizza toppings. So, of course, pepperoni. Pepperoni is the #1 variety of pizza, at least in America, and definitely at my pizza restaurant. Green peppers diced. You can also do rings of different colors of bell pepper. And black olives, yay! I love black olives. They're just so decidedly non-fancy. Okay, so the pizza dip is assembled. I'm gonna wait, and now I'm gonna build the garlic bread that I'm gonna use to make little pieces of toast to dip into the dip. I mean, this thing is just gonna blow you away. So I've got some softened butter and minced garlic, and I'm adding more oregano. Give it a quick stir, mix it all together. And this will definitely keep the vampires away. This is garlicky. So I'll take half of it, plop it on 1/2 of a loaf of French bread, and the other half, and then I'll just spread it out. You just kind of want to cover the entire cut surface with this garlic butter. Why is garlic so darn good?
It makes everything better.
It's just a magical mystery ingredient.
How is it so flavorful?
I don't know, but gosh, I'm glad whoever discovered garlic discovered it. Now, we only have to take 1 trip to the oven.
You can carry it all.
Oh, I can carry it all. I've got the oven on 450, so it's very, very hot. Put the bread in and the dip. And I'm gonna bake both of these for 12 minutes, and then we're gonna dig in. My gosh, look at this, Alex.
Oh boy.
Look at this dip.
It's beautiful.
It looks like a pizza, but it's a creamy dip instead. And look at this delicious, beautiful garlic bread. Ooh, hot. Ooh, hot. So basically, I'm gonna cut these into little spears. Spears? I don't know. Don't listen to your mom. Okay, I'm struggling with this bread, so give me about 2 minutes to get it all sliced up. Okay, I got it all sliced up. So to serve, I'll put the dip on one side of the board, and then just pile the little garlic bread pieces on the other side. I mean, you serve this with like punch or beer, or what do they call it these days? Hard cider.
Seltzer.
Seltzer, lemonade. All right, pizza dip with garlic bread dippers. That's basically what we're talking about here. And I want to demonstrate how it's done properly. Paige, come on over here. You can have some.
No, no. Time for the annual Paige Mauricio fight over food.
Get in here, Mauricio. Oh, savage.
All right, 1 bite review.
That's good.
Oh, yes.
That's really, you gotta get more pepperoni and stuff on
Oh.
yours.
That's nice. I turned it around. I'm not double dipping. How is
Delish.
it?
Wow.
It's a total touchdown.
Oh no.
I feel really strongly about guacamole. I know you don't hear that a lot. But I just think usually it's this puree of avocados that doesn't have a lot of flavor. And I just think it's got to have lots of flavor and be really chunky. This is how you take the pit out of the avocado. Just like that. These are perfectly ripe. You want them so that they're bright green. And they're ripe enough so that they come out of the shell really easily. If they're too ripe, you'll find they're really brown. These are just perfect. So green around the outside and yellow in the middle. These are gonna be so good when Jeffrey gets home with chips and margaritas while the tequila lime chicken cooks. Gotta have something special when he walks in the door. Okay, one more half. See, when they're ripe, it comes out really easily, and it's beautiful. Okay, now I'm gonna season it. You know, people ask me all the time, what's the best way to keep the guacamole green? And there's really one key ingredient, lemon juice. There are all these theories about having the seed in it. Forget it. It's really about fresh lemon juice, and it's got to be freshly squeezed lemon juice. Okay, we've got that. And then all kinds of delicious things to season it with. Hot sauce. I like when it's really spicy. You can decide how hot you want yours. I like garlic in it, so chopped garlic. Red onions. It's going to be so good. Lots of salt. And freshly ground pepper. And this is the secret to really good guacamole. I don't puree it. All I do is cut into it, just like this. So it's really chunky. It mixes the ingredients together. And it stays really chunky this way. Just run your knife through the avocados. Okay, just mix it up and make sure the flavors are well blended. And the last thing I add is tomato. So I've chopped tomatoes. I've taken the seeds out. I put the tomatoes in last because I don't want it to color the guacamole. Just toss it lightly. I'm sure it needs more salt. I really want to get the right balance of avocado, lemon juice, salt and pepper. Little salt. That's pretty good. I think Jeffrey's going to love it with corn chips, yellow corn chips, blue corn chips, or you can even get red corn chips. How crazy is that? That's going to be really good.
Seasoned potato chips. So I've got some vegetable oil that's heating up, and here are the potatoes. So these are Yukon Gold potatoes, and come in here and look at this page. See how thin they are?
Thin.
I sliced these on a mandolin. Now, I'm just gonna say a mandolin or some kind of V-slicer is really critical if you wanna make potato chips like this. It's pretty much impossible to get them this thin with a knife. I'm actually patting these potatoes dry. They've been soaking in water just to get them ready to fry. So while they totally dry off, I'm gonna make a little seasoning mix for them, and this is scrumptious. So come in here and look, Paige, at this sparkly, wonderful sea salt. And then the same amount of black pepper, dill, celery salt, and smoked paprika, yum. You can do any sort of seasoning mix that you want. You can make it spicy, you can add, different herbs if you like, or you can just use a really good store-bought seasoning mix. But there is nothing better than homemade potato chips. Am I right, girls?
Right.
So good. All right, come look, Paige. Let's see how dry they are. Yeah, pretty good. Okay, so potato chips are best fried in batches. So I'm gonna drop a little test in there. Yeah,
I hear
floated
it.
right to the top. So I'll go ahead and get these in there. All right, so check it out, Paige. Use a slotted spoon, or I love these big spiders like this. And basically you just need to move the potatoes around until they start to get golden brown and crisp. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take the first batch out. Drip off as much oil as you can. These are so thinly sliced that they didn't take long at all to cook. And you can get some batches a little bit darker, keep some batches a little lighter, so then you have a lot of variety. Okay, ooh, look at this. And then I'll take this seasoning mix and give it a really generous sprinkle.
Yum.
All right, so I'm gonna do the same thing with the rest of the potatoes. Pat them dry, fry them, remove them, season them. I'll keep going until all the potatoes are done. And then Betsy should be here soon, so don't go away. I'll see you on the other side. Homemade seasoned chips.
Yep.
It sure
This
is.
like my kind of welcome. That's
I'm
what
so
you
glad
need.
you're here.
I'll just be here with this for
I will
a
too.
while.
In fact, let's just forget the rest of the stuff we were gonna cook and just eat
Okay.
this. Yay for sisters.
So the base of the hummus is gonna be chickpeas, and that's what's gonna give it a little bit of body. So first things first, I have 2 cans of chickpeas. As you can see, I'm draining it. We don't wanna get rid of this liquid at the bottom because we're gonna use that a little bit later. Trust me, you don't wanna get rid of it. So you just wanna drain it. And all we're gonna do is add this right to our processor. So get that in. We're gonna add some flavor to this. I'm gonna add some tahini. Now, if you've never used tahini, basically what it is toasted ground sesame, right? Very, very deep and rich in flavor. I'm gonna use some adobo sauce. And basically what this is dried red chilies. And it's gonna give it a little smokiness, but also give it a little heat as well. Add a little bit of cumin to this. Cumin has smoky notes as well. Very rich, aromatic. I'm gonna add some garlic salt. And basically what garlic salt is garlic powder and salt mixed together, but this one has some parsley in it. And that's just gonna take the flavor to the next level. So we're gonna add this in. And by adding this, we don't have to add any salt. All right, so that goes in. I'm gonna add some lemon juice to this as well. That's gonna make it bright and fresh. So remember, always test. If you can't really squeeze it, let you know that the juices really haven't come out yet. So let's go ahead and roll this out. So now you can see the difference, right? Lets me know that those juices are ready to come out of this lemon. So let's go ahead and give this a cut. Remember, we're gonna cut this in half. I'm gonna use my juicer here. If you don't have one, you can just squeeze. Just make sure you keep the seeds out. Let's go ahead and give this a squeeze. So I didn't get as much juice as I wanted out of this half, so I'm gonna use this other half as well. Let's get rid of this lemon here. Get you in and give this a good squeeze. That should be more than enough juice. So I'm gonna add some pepper to this as well. A little bit more. Perfect. So what I want to do at this point, I just want to blend it just a little bit to kind of mix everything up. Let's give it a couple pulses. So remember I said don't get rid of that liquid, right? So this liquid is going to loosen this up a little bit because we're looking for a silky smooth texture to this. So I'm just going to add a little bit. I'm going to eyeball it here. Just a little bit more. Good. So you just want to check it. At this point, what I like to do, I like to take my lid off. I just want to get in here and kind of start checking it out. Give it a little taste. That's good. We need a little bit of fat in here, so I'm going to add some olive oil to this. Right while the blender's going, just add your oil. Perfect. And just let it go. Good, let's check our consistency. It's coming together nice. We got that reserved liquid as a safety to make sure we get the consistency. Still a little thick. I want it to be a little bit thinner than this, so we're gonna add a little bit more liquid. All right, here we go. Just a little bit more. A little bit more of this liquid. That should be perfect. So let's scrape down these sides. Make sure everything gets incorporated. You don't want to see any lumps of that chickpea. Should be nice and smooth. I think about 1 or 2 more pulses and we will be ready to rock and roll. All right, here we go. Final pulse. That's it, my friends. It's time to plate this hummus up. here we go. Get rid of our blade. What I'm looking for with my texture, it should be nice and creamy, but not too thin. And this is perfect. This is exactly what I was looking for. I want it to have some integrity, right? I mean, we're talking about a dip, so it should be hearty enough to, if you stick a chip in here, a pita chip or something like that, you don't want it falling off. It should be able to hold right to that chip. Don't leave any behind now. And what I like to do is just finish it off with a little bit of olive oil. Just for another flavor bomb, I'm gonna add a little bit of chili lime seasoning right on top. All right, friends, I hope you enjoyed making this hummus with the kick. I think it's time for us to give this a try. How about we get some chips in here? Let's see. I'm like so excited. See what I was talking about? It should hold right on the end of that chip. That's the consistency you're looking for. The tahini gives it a nice nuttiness. Has a little bit of the kick from the adobo, but that lemon juice just rounds it all out. This is absolutely the perfect dip. Hope you enjoyed yourself. I'll see you next time.
This is what I call my What Would Katie Eat Pitaya Smoothie Bowl. I think I'm making Katie proud with this one. All right, so to make it, I just imagine what Katie Lee would do. Let's get started. Now, first, we're talking about pitaya. Look at this beautiful pitaya. I love it. It's kind of got the texture of, I guess you could say kiwi. Those little tiny black seeds in there have that kind of same sensation. They pop in your mouth. Also, pitaya is known as dragon fruit. It comes from cactus plants. It's indigenous to Central and South America. Mild, sweet, earthy, give it a try. All right, so the first thing I wanna do to make my bowl is work on the toppings because the pitaya is in the freezer right now and I don't want it to become too much room temperature before I get all the toppings onto it. The two toppings I like to add if I usually go to like a bowl place is granola and toasted coconut. So I'm just gonna get my two pans here, dry pans, you don't need any fat or anything like that, going on a medium-high heat. So just shake about 1/2 cup of your granola on there, any kind of your favorite granola. I like to pick a granola that's got pecans in it or pecans because I just love the nutty crunch. And this is sweetened coconut, same amount of each, 1/2 cup each. And then I'm just gonna toss them. Now, usually, with the toasted coconut, I'll just get in there with a wooden spoon and kind of stir it instead of tossing because it's gonna start to stick just a little bit, all those sugars in there because it's sweetened. All right, so I'm toasting my granola because granola sits on the shelf just like anything else, like your spices. And granola is all about the spice. You're usually gonna find some warm spices in there like cinnamons and nutmegs. And so it's really, really smart when you get it home, right before you go to use it, just throw a little toss on it, a little bit of heat, and it really, I mean, it smells more like granola. So you're not looking for a color. It's already been toasted for you. Just gonna get that right off the heat, turn it off, and now take a look at our toasting coconut here. A lot of times, if you go to a pitaya place, they have like what I call the fancy coconut. It's not sweetened, bigger flakes. I like that as well, but this is so much easier to get right in the baking aisle next to all the nuts and everything. All right, so now see how this is getting nice and toasty? I'm gonna take it off the heat before it's done because the pan is still hot. It's a good time to just move things around and let the residual heat of the pan do all of the work. And I'm just gonna actually divide and conquer. Since this pan is slightly cooled down more, just gonna get that in there. Now listen, if you're at home and you're like, excuse me, 2 pans, an embarrassment of riches and dishes. You could just do 1 pan and then just like shuffle the granola into a bowl, wipe it out, and then do your toasted coconut afterwards. Okay, so now I've got these 2 things ready, my toppings. We can start working with the pitaya. So it's usually, like I said, in your freezer section, and it comes in little pouches. Sometimes you'll find like a family pack that has like 8 or 10 of these pouches, and there are a lot of ways they suggest for you to get it to like a little bit less frozen, but not room temperature, because if you've had a pitaya bowl, you know, you kind of like it chilled a little bit. So one of the suggestions is to run it over kind of cold water. You can also defrost it in your refrigerator, or just use the warmth from your hands and just kind of massage it with your fingertips. You know, like I'm doing right here. Just a little massage therapy. And as it starts to squish a little bit more, feels good. So I'm gonna squeeze this one right into the blender. Get the other one in there. Look how beautiful and vibrant that color is. I'm telling you, if you got your nails done and you want an outfit to match, get your drink, your outfit, and your pitaya all in one. Pink beautification. All right, so this is a nut butter. I'm using maple flavored almond butter. It's about a half a cup right here. And then to smooth it out a bit, just gonna add in a 1/4 cup of sweetened vanilla almond milk. And remember, use a liquid measure. A friend of mine was asking me once when we were grocery shopping, like, hey, should I get vanilla? Because, you know, I really want that vanilla flavor. I was like, yeah, but if you don't add any sweetener to that, it's just, vanilla is just kind of like a scent, if you ask me. Gotta get the sweetened so you have all that good love in there. All right, so I'm just gonna blitz it. All right, also another tip, when you're making this, a blender does create heat, so the faster you blend this, the better you're gonna have as far as your temperature. Just pour that right into the bowl. Look at how beautiful that is. I'm talking color galore. So, I've got the pitaya that's got my nut butter in it, a little bit of almond milk to smooth it out. I've got my banana. I usually just cut it right into the bowl. It's kind of like, well, actually, you know what? I'd love, so let me give a little bit of a platform so the bananas don't sink too much. And put a little bit of this yummy, I like to make a mess. That's the best thing about being on the kitchen. Someone comes and cleans up. I heard a couple chuckles back there. All right, and then just come down the middle here. And then just hit it with the bananas. Don't cover it too much. A little bit of the banana, and then I come in with something healthy. Again, this harkens right back to my girl, Katie Lee. What would Katie eat? She's always telling us that chia seeds are super, super good. They've got all kind of those fun omega situations going on. So a little sprinkle over the top. And there you have it. It doesn't get any easier than this. All right, so I wanna give a taste. Take myself back to Cali in my first pitaya bowl. Get a little bit of everything. Some banana, some toasted coconut, and that vibrant pitaya. I mean, come on. So simple. It's healthy as well. And I'd eat that entire bowl and tear it up. Hey, I hope you enjoyed my Pitaya Smoothie Bowl at home, and make some for your friends. Take care.
I am so excited to be showing you one of my favorite recipes. It is masala chai along with this delicious, crunchy, savory snack called Murukku. The combination of the sweet chai along with the crunchy, savory Murukku is a marriage made in heaven. Hi everyone, I am Maneet Chauhan and this is Maneet Eats, where I break down how to make the best Indian dishes from the market to the dinner table. Before we head to the market, stop what you're doing and click subscribe to Food Network's YouTube channel so you don't miss a thing. Here at a local Indian store, shopping for ingredients for masala chai and Murukku. For a masala chai, the most important ingredient is a really good loose leaf tea. Now, what I like to use is Assam tea because it is a stronger black tea. It holds up to all the spices that we are going to add to the masala chai. Now we need something to sweeten our masala chai. You can use sugar or honey. I like to use jaggery. Now, jaggery is unrefined Indian sugar. It has a little bit of minerality to it, which goes very well with the spices that we are going to add to the masala chai. What we are going to be using for the murukku is a urad dal. Now, urad dal is black lentils from which the skin has been removed. It has a very earthy flavor to it and works beautifully when we are making the murukku. I am so excited to be sharing how to make a murukku with you. Now, one of my favorite memories growing up in India, I grew up in this really small town. And I would have dinner at home, sneak over to my neighbors' houses, tell them that my parents hadn't fed me, and just sit with them in the kitchen and see them cook. So one of my neighbors, the aunties, used to make this murukku. And I would be sitting with her in her kitchen as she would be frying these delicious savory snacks and just sneaking some for myself. So I have a really, really fond memory of eating murukkus as a kid. One of the main ingredients is urad dal. This is used extensively in southern Indian cooking. Not only do you use it in savory snacks, as we are going to be in the murukku today, but this is also soaked and fermented and you make breads out of it. So it is very extensively used in southern Indian cooking. So we'll start off by dry roasting the urad dal. Now, this is a very critical step. You've got to be with the urad dal throughout the roasting process. If you just walk away, that's the time that the urad dal is going to burn. This will take a little bit of time, so have some patience and keep roasting it till it is nice and golden. Murukku has a really fun story to it. Murukku, translated from a southern Indian language, Tamil, means twisted. When you see these snacks, they are in concentric circles, so they are twisted. In southern India, murukku is served with chai or coffee. It is called a tea time snack. In fact, every morning, along with my chai, I have murukku. I always say cooking is a very sensory experience. So when you're cooking something, rely on your sense of smell, sight, sounds. That's how you make a really amazing dish. Right now, this beautiful, nutty, roasted smell of the urad dal being roasted is wafting through. And you can see that it has now started changing color. See. So it started getting this beautiful reddish hue to it. And at this time, you know it's ready to be ground. So while the urad dal is cooling down, I am going to go ahead and dry roast some sesame seeds. These are white sesame seeds. This doesn't take a very long time, so please be standing right in front of the saute pan. And now these are sesame seeds dancing. Okay, so the sesame seed is ready and we are going to put this in a bowl. Next, we are going to get a spice grinder to grind the urad dal. Now, spice grinder is usually the best way to go because it makes sure you get a fine powder out of the urad dal. So you can do it in small batches. And it's really fun. How you know that it's done is by the sound of it. So once it is done, I'm going to go ahead and sift it into the bowl which has the sesame seeds in. The reason why I grind the dal and not the sesame seeds is because when I bite into the murukku, I love that textural contrast of something which is nice, smooth and crunchy along with the bite of the sesame seed that you get. This has our toasted sesame seed. It has our toasted urad dal powder. Now we are going to put some rice flour in it. Rice flour gives it a wonderful amount of crunchiness, which we really, really like. Next, we are going to go ahead and add some seasoning to it. So some salt, some turmeric. I'm going to put a touch of Kashmiri chili. The other spice that I'm going to add to this is called hing. Hing is also asafoetida and it comes from a sap of a tree. So it has this garlicky, oniony flavor to it, which is very distinctive, and a little hing goes a long way. Once I have all of this together, I am going to go ahead and crumble some butter in this. The butter has to be at room temperature because what you are doing is you are slowly massaging the butter into this entire flour mixture. And you keep on mixing it till it becomes nice and crumbly. As you can see, it almost has a sand-like texture. Now, what we are looking for is a dough. The dough has to be pliable because this is going to go into a murukku maker. Think of when you're making a sugar cookie. That is the consistency that we are looking at. I add the water. Now, when I am making doughs, I like using my hands because I keep on getting the consistency of the dough as I am mixing this. This is what we are looking for, this consistency. Now, this looks perfect. I'm going to go and grab my murukku maker and we are going to start making some murukkus. I remember my neighbor, she used to use a murukku maker which was like this. This is old school. You can actually find this online and at any of the Indian stores. Remove the base. The murukku maker comes with a lot of different dyes. This is the star dye which we are going to be using to make a murukku. A new murukku maker which I recently got is something which makes making a murukku very easy. All you have to do is just press it and make the concentric circles. So this is what we are going to use. Whenever you make murukku, just make sure that you nicely grease the inside of the murukku maker. Otherwise, this is going to stick to the murukku maker and you're not going to get a really nice, smooth, concentric circle. So, to use this, you go ahead and unscrew the bottom. And I'm going to use a brush and some oil to nicely grease the inside of this murukku maker. The next thing that I'm going to do is get some parchment paper. Now, if you want, you can fry the murukkus directly into the fryer, but this is a great tip for you to make a lot of murukkus and then put it into the fryer. I'm going to take some of the murukku dough right over here, put it in the murukku maker, put the bottom back on, and then on the parchment paper, go ahead and make concentric circles. Press this and it goes round. Make sure that you tuck the end into the murukku. So this is what we are looking for. If you do not have a murukku maker, use a piping bag. We will take a little bit of the dough, cut the base off, and make concentric circles. The best part about the murukku is that they don't have to be perfect, they just have to be delicious. So now that I have piped all my murukkus, let's take it over to the fryer and start frying them. So, I have this on a parchment paper. The amazing part about this is that you can put the murukku in the fryer with the parchment paper, and then the parchment paper slides out and you can just pull that out. So this is going to go for at least 5 minutes or so. What we are looking for is a beautiful golden brown color for it to be nice and crispy through and through. Make sure that you have a plate which is lined with some paper towels for you to take these deep fried murukkus out. What you are looking for is something to absorb all the residual oil. So how you know that the murukkus are ready is when the murukkus stop bubbling. So right over here, as you can see, this is not bubbling anymore. This murukku is done. So the murukkus are ready. I am going to let this cool, and while this is cooling, we are going to make some chai. Before we start, there is nothing known as chai tea because chai translated from Hindi means tea. Masala tea is a spice tea. And growing up in India, you get tea being sold in each and every corner. And everybody has their own special blend of spices that they add. To start off with, we make a spice blend. Whenever you're making spice blends, my suggestion is to start off with whole spices because that gives the most amount of flavor to it. So I start off with some green cardamom. Now, green cardamom adds sweetness and a floral quality to anything that you're making. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add some fennel. Now, fennel has this amazing licorice kind of sweetness, which just adds a smoothness to the chai. Add some cloves. Cloves gives it the sharpness, and then black peppercorns. Yes, you heard me right. The black peppercorn gives it a little bit of that heat spice that hits you in the back of your throat when you're drinking the chai. So cinnamon adds that warming sweetness to the chai, I think, which rounds up the chai. Next, I go ahead in a mortar and pestle, crush it lightly. Now, as you can see, I'm not making a powder out of it. All I'm doing is crushing it. The reason why I'm crushing it is to allow these spices to release their oils, and that's where the flavor is. So now that we have our spices ready, let's start making the chai. We will start off with some water. In the water goes the spice mix. Add some ginger to this. Now what you can do is crush it in the mortar or pestle or grate it into the chai. I'm going to be using a microplane. You can use a grater. The reason why I like grating it is as you're grating it, the juices of the ginger, they mix along with the spices and give it more of the gingery flavor. Now we are going to wait for this mixture to start coming to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, I do let it simmer for a minute or so before I add the rest of the ingredients. So good. The tea has been boiling. I have let it simmer for some time. Now, when you're making masala chai, milk is cooked along with the spices and the tea leaves. So in goes the milk. Now, it also really depends on which part of India you are from. In northern India, there is a lot more milk used. Southern India, a little less milk is used. It's also a matter of personal preference as to how much milk you want in your tea. Next, I'm going to add some star anise to it. The reason why I'm adding this towards the end is because the chai already has some sweetness in it from the cinnamon, from the fennel and the cardamom that we've added to it. Now, star anise has a very woody sweetness, which is a great finishing spice. So in it goes. Next, I am going to be adding some rose petals. These are dried edible rose petals. They go beautifully with the Assam black tea. So it's that floral quality of the tea along with the dried rose petals, which work so well. I'm going to go ahead and sweeten this. I like to use jaggery in this. Now, jaggery is Indian unrefined sugar. It's almost like dark brown sugar or palansio. The sweetness is slightly tamed in this, and it's got a little bit of a minerality to it, which works very well with the tannins which come from the tea. So in this goes. And now we are just going to let this simmer for a few minutes, and your chai is ready. So now that my masala chai is ready, I'm going to go ahead and strain it. I got this beautiful teapot from India, which I love to serve my chai in. This is a fancier teapot, but in India, people are selling tea on each and every corner in teapots which look like this. They are simple, they are made of aluminium, but that's how they are selling it. I have my murukkus ready. This needs a cup of chai. Cheers, guys. You know what's a good chai time? All the time. So good. The reason why I love this combination is that the chai is rich. It's got all of these spices in it. Sweet spice, spice that you get from the peppercorn, so there's heat. There is the tannins that you get from the tea, the floral quality of the rose petals, the sweetness from the jaggery. And then when you have something salty and savory and crunchy with it, that combination is a very addictive combination. I hope you make my chai and murukku and enjoy a comforting morning or a cozy night in. Comment down below what else you want to see me cook. And don't forget to subscribe to Food Network's YouTube channel for more delicious Indian recipes. See you soon.